The war is over. Or is it? The sky above Earth was full of color. Fireworks exploded like flowers made of light. People were cheering, dancing, and singing in the streets. After 5 long years, the war was finally over. The alien enemy, the Zarn, had signed a peace treaty. Humanity had won. But Commander Alara did not smile. She stood on a quiet hill far from the noise and celebration. Her black uniform was clean, her medals shining, but her eyes were tired. She looked at the stars above, thinking of all the soldiers who never made it back. "They say we won," she whispered. "But what did we really win?" Alara walked slowly to her small command base. It was an old building, almost forgotten now. Inside, everything was dark except for one glowing screen. She pressed a button and the screen lit up with names. Hundreds of names. These were the missing soldiers. "Still waiting," she said softly, scanning the list. Suddenly, her communicator buzzed. It was a sound she hadn't heard in months. A private, high-security channel. No one should be using it. She picked it up. Static filled the air. Then a voice came through. "You forgot me, Commander, but I never forgot you." Alara froze. She knew that voice. "Kale?" she whispered. No answer. Just silence. She quickly opened a secret file on her computer. Only one name was highlighted. Kale Ryder. Status: unknown. Kale had been her best soldier, her closest friend. Maybe more than a friend. They had fought side by side, saved each other's lives many times, but during the final battle, he had disappeared. His ship was lost in deep space. Everyone thought he was dead, but now, his voice was back. Alara's hands trembled as she activated the base's AI assistant. "Search for any recent signals from Kale Ryder's ID code." "Searching signal found," the AI replied. "Last ping received 2 hours ago. Origin, outer edge of solar system." She stared at the map. It was far, very far, near an old battlefield. There was nothing there. At least there shouldn't be. What else do we have on that location? Scans show no human ships nearby, but an unknown structure has been detected. Large, metallic, low-energy signature. No communication signal. Completely silent. Alara narrowed her eyes. Silent. Like a grave. She turned to her locker and pulled out a small photo. It was old, creased from being folded too many times. In the photo, she and Kale were smiling, standing together in front of a spaceship. It was taken before the war began. "You promised you'd come back," she said to the photo. "Why didn't you?" The communicator buzzed again. This time it was just one sentence. "You left me, Alara. Now it's your turn to find me." Alara's heart raced. This wasn't a trick. This wasn't a ghost. Kale was alive, and he was sending a message. But there was something wrong in his voice. It wasn't just anger, it was pain. Deep pain and something else. Something not human. She knew what she had to do. Prepare the scout ship. I'm going alone." "Warning," the AI said. "Unauthorized solo travel to the outer zone is not recommended." "I know," she said. As she stepped outside, the celebrations continued in the distance. People danced under fireworks. No one knew that something was coming. Something dangerous. Something unfinished. The war was over, yes. But one soldier didn't believe in peace. One soldier waited in silence, and he was ready to end it all. The ghost from the past. The scout ship sliced through the stars like a quiet arrow. Commander Alara sat alone in the cockpit, watching as planets passed by her window. Outside, space was calm. Inside, her heart was a storm. Kale Ryder. The name echoed in her mind like a drumbeat. He had once been a hero, brave, loyal, full of fire. But now he was something else. Something hidden. Something dangerous. As the ship moved closer to the outer edge of the solar system, memories returned. Not just of war, but of friendship, of long talks under the stars, of promises made in silence, of something unspoken between them, always just out of reach. "He was the best of us," she whispered, "and we left him behind." Suddenly, the ship's alarm rang. "Unidentified object detected," the AI reported. "Distance 400 kilometers. Structure, artificial. Energy level, minimal. No response to communication." Alara looked at the screen. There it was, floating in the dark, like a forgotten god. A massive black structure shaped like a blade stabbed into space. No lights, no signals, no sign of life. And yet, something was alive in there. "Take me in," she ordered. As the ship moved closer, the temperature dropped. Instruments flickered. The AI stuttered. "Malfunction. Electromagnetic interference. Unknown source." Alara frowned. This wasn't just a building. It was something else. A warning, maybe. Or a trap. She suited up and stepped into the docking bay. The door opened with a hiss, and cold silence greeted her. She floated into the structure. Inside, everything was metal and shadow. The walls were covered in strange symbols, half alien, half human. Broken wires hung like dead vines. The air felt thick, like the place itself was holding its breath. Then she saw it. A chamber. In the center, a chair. And in that chair, a figure. Kale Ryder, or what was left of him. His eyes were closed. His body was strapped with machines glowing faintly blue. His skin was pale, but his face was still his. She moved closer. Her breath caught in her throat. "Kyle," she whispered. His eyes snapped open. "I was wondering how long it would take you," he said, voice calm but empty. Alara stepped back, shocked. He looked human, but something was off. His voice had an echo like two people speaking at once. One was Kale, the other was something darker. "You're alive," she said. "How?" He smiled. Not kindly. "You left me to die. But the Zarn didn't. They took me, broke me, rebuilt me, made me better." "They experimented on you?" she asked, horrified. "No," he said. "They offered me a choice. And I said yes." Alara stared at him. "Why?" Kale looked at her with eyes that no longer belonged to a man. "Because you made peace with the enemy, while I became the enemy." Silence filled the room. Then Kale stood up, wires detached from his body like living snakes. His steps were slow, heavy. "They showed me the truth," he continued. "The war never ended, Alara. You just surrendered. And now you're all celebrating a lie. Kale, this isn't you," and he raised a hand. "Don't," he said. "You don't know what I've seen, what they are. The peace treaty is a trick, a test. They're watching, waiting. And when humanity grows weak, they will return and finish the job." Alara shook her head. "Then help me stop them." Kyle smiled again, this time with sadness. "I already am. But my way is different." Suddenly, the walls around them began to glow. Holograms appeared, plans for a weapon. Massive, terrifying. "This is what I've built," Kyle said. "The last weapon. A warning shot to the galaxy." Alara's voice turned cold. "You plan to attack the Zarn?" He nodded. "Not just them. Everyone. If we show them our strength, they'll fear us, respect us, or destroy us," she said. Kale stepped close. His eyes searched hers. "You once told me you'd do anything to protect humanity. Well, so would I, even if it means becoming the monster." Alara's heart pounded. This wasn't a rescue. This was a mission to stop the man she once trusted with her life. "You can still come back," she said quietly, but Kale was already turning away. "No, Alara. This time, you have to stop me." He pressed a button. The floor shook. Alarms blared. Countdown initiated. 72 hours until weapon activation. Alara stared at the glowing timer. She had just 3 days. 3 days to stop the man who once saved her. 3 days to save the future of Earth. And 3 days to face a ghost who no longer believed in peace. The silent weapon darkness filled the skies above the outer zone. Commander Alara sat quietly in her ship, staring at the countdown on her screen. Time left. 71 hours, 22 minutes. Behind her, the alien structure floated in silence, hiding the weapon that could destroy everything. Kale was alive, changed, dangerous. And he had made a choice, to become the threat instead of waiting for one. But Alara still didn't understand everything. What happened to him out there? Why did he really build this weapon? And was he still human? Her fingers shook slightly as she opened a secure channel to Central Command on Earth. This is Commander Alara. I've located Kale Ryder. He's alive. But not the same. He has built a weapon in the outer zone. Countdown is active. There was a long pause, then static. Commander Alara. The voice replied. We thought Kale died 5 years ago. Are you certain it's him? I'm certain, she said. But he's changed. Part of him is alien. We'll send a team. No, she said quickly. If he sees soldiers, he'll activate it early. I need time. Just give me time. Command agreed, but only for 48 hours. That left her with less than 2 days. She returned to the alien structure. This time, Kyle didn't meet her. Instead, the halls were darker. The lights flickered red, and something new had awakened. As she walked deeper into the ship, she saw figures, half hidden in the shadows. They stood still, tall and silent. Humanoid, but wrong. Their skin looked like metal and bone fused together. Their eyes glowed dimly, and their bodies didn't breathe. What are these things? She asked out loud. A voice answered behind her. They were like me. Soldiers, broken and forgotten. Now they serve a new purpose. Kyle stepped out from the shadows. I didn't build this weapon alone, he said. They helped me, and they believe like I do that peace is a lie. Alara stared at the silent figures. They're not human anymore. Neither am I, he replied. She stepped forward. Then what are you, Kyle? He looked at her. A long pause. Evolved. For a moment there was only silence. Then Alara took out a small device and held it up. I need access to the core. I want to see what this weapon really is. Kyle didn't stop her. He only said, You won't understand it, but maybe you'll believe it. She followed him down a corridor of glowing walls. Alien symbols flickered and shifted as they passed. It felt like the ship itself was watching her. They entered the core chamber. At its center stood a massive black sphere, spinning slowly, humming softly. Strange energy pulsed through it. It looked alive. What is it? She whispered. Kyle stepped beside it. A silent weapon. No blast, no fire. It doesn't destroy bodies. It destroys will. Alara's eyes widened. What do you mean? It sends a signal, Kyle said. A frequency. Silent, invisible. Once activated, it spreads through space, across systems, across species. It shuts down the parts of the brain that control fear, logic, hope. The result? Chaos, panic, collapse. Alara stared in horror. You'll make every planet tear itself apart. Kale nodded. And the Zarn will watch. They'll see what happens when humanity is pushed too far, and maybe they'll think twice before trying to conquer us again. Alara stepped back. This isn't defense, this is madness. Kyle looked away. You weren't there, Alara. You didn't see what they did to us, to me. They don't fear peace. They only understand power. I became that power. She looked at him. Really looked. His voice was calm, his body strong. But something inside him was broken. Deeply. You don't need to do this, she said. You don't need to become them. Kyle's jaw tightened. It's too late. Just then, the floor beneath them shook. An alert flashed across the ship's wall. Unauthorized ship detected, human signature, 5 minutes to impact. Earth had sent a team anyway. Alara turned to Kale. You need to shut it down, now. I warned you, he said. If they come, the countdown speeds up. On her screen, the timer changed. New time. 47 hours, 24 hours lost. Kale stepped back into the shadows. The silent soldiers behind him began to move. You wanted time, Ilara, he said. Now you have less of it. The chamber lights dimmed. The ship began to shift and change like a living creature preparing to defend itself. Alara ran back to her ship. As she flew out of the station, she saw the other human ship arriving. 5 elite soldiers inside. She opened a channel. Turn back. It's a trap. Too late. Kale's silent weapon had woken, and now, the war she thought had ended was starting again. The mind game begins. Space was quiet, but inside Alara's mind, everything was screaming. Her ship drifted just outside Kale's structure. Behind her, the squad of soldiers from Earth was gone, lost in minutes. No bodies, no signals, just silence. Kale's weapon wasn't active yet, but it was already working. He had warned her. They came, and now they were gone. The timer on her screen blinked. Time left, 46 hours, 11 minutes. AI, she said, her voice low. Is there any chance they're alive? The AI replied, flat and empty. No signs of life. All communication has ended. Alara leaned back in her chair. Her hand shook as she closed her eyes. What are you doing, Kale? What have you become? Suddenly, her screen flickered. Static. Then a face appeared. His face. Kyle. But not in the real world. This was something else. A neural link. A direct connection to her mind. Only possible between two people who had once shared deep trust. And once they had. You let them die? His voice echoed in her head. She opened her eyes. You killed them. No, he said. They killed themselves. They couldn't understand what's coming. The world around her began to change. The ship's walls faded. Her body felt weightless. She was no longer sitting. She was standing on an old battlefield, a memory. But not hers. His gunfire, smoke, screams. She saw Kale running, blood on his hands, dragging a wounded soldier. Behind him, the Zarn attacked like shadows with teeth. Then the image changed. She saw him in a dark alien chamber, tied down, machines tearing into his skin, voices speaking in a language she didn't understand. Fear flooded the room like water. Kale's voice spoke again. They broke me, Alara. And when I begged for help, you never came. We thought you were dead, she said, her voice shaking. He turned to face her. You didn't even look. Alara stepped forward. I looked. Every day. I searched the data. I opened your file 100 times. Then why did you sign the treaty? He asked. Why did you make peace with the things that destroyed us? Alara didn't answer, because deep inside she knew part of the truth. They had made peace because they were tired, too many dead, too much blood. The Zarn offered a deal, and the leaders took it, to save what was left. Kale's image looked at her with burning eyes. You call this peace? You live in cities built on bones. You dance under fireworks while the ghosts scream in silence. Alara gritted her teeth. This weapon won't bring justice. No, he agreed. It will bring balance. Fear is the only language the universe understands. Suddenly, the memory around them changed again, a secret. One Alara had buried. She saw herself. In a command room. A message on the screen. Possible survivor. Location. Sector 9. Kale's ship. But the voice in the room said, too far. Risk is high. We can't afford to lose another squad. And she nodded. She said the words herself. Mark is dead. Proceed with treaty. Her heart stopped. Kale looked at her in the memory. Now you remember. She dropped to her knees. I thought they were right. We couldn't lose more people. So you chose peace over me, Kyle said softly. And now, I choose war. The link ended. She gasped and opened her eyes back in the real world. Sweat ran down her face. Her hands shook. She had abandoned him, not because she didn't care, but because she was afraid. Afraid the war would never end. Afraid of more loss. Afraid of more ghosts. But in saving humanity, she had created its greatest threat. Cale wasn't just a man, he was a message, and the message was, never forget what peace cost. The ship system beeped again. A new signal. The weapon's power core was rising, not just ready to fire, but ready to awaken something else. The AI spoke, voice robotic, and, "Call to Commander. Scans show a secondary signal being sent across deep space." "What kind of signal?" she asked. "A call, a beacon, not human." Her blood ran cold. Cale wasn't just preparing to destroy. He was calling something. Maybe the Zarn. Maybe something worse. And she only had 46 hours to stop it. The final hunt stars raced past the glass of Alara's ship as she pushed the engines to their limit. Behind her, the alien structure loomed like a silent god in space. Ahead of her, unknown. Cale had activated something. Something not meant. For human eyes, her AI repeated the scan report. Alien signal detected. Transmission reaching outside the solar system. Destination unknown. "He's calling someone," Alara said. Or something. The weapon wasn't just meant to destroy. It was bait. Cale had built it not to win the war, but to bring a new one, and she was running out of time. Time left. 44 hours, 38 minutes. Suddenly, an alert flashed across her screen. Hostile incoming. Pursuit mode activated, her heart dropped. He had sent hunters after her. The radar showed 5 ships, small, fast, built with strange hybrid tech. Not human, not Zarn. Something between. Alara flipped the ship into evasive flight. Laser fire streaked past her. Explosions lit up the blackness of space. Activate countermeasures," she shouted. Flares deployed. The ship spun through debris. She fired back. One enemy ship exploded into fire and smoke. The others kept coming. "These aren't drones," she whispered. "They're alive." The ships moved like birds, like they could think, like they could feel. She had no choice. She activated a stealth jump, vanishing into a wormhole stream. Silence returned. For now. She landed near a forgotten Zarn station deep in the asteroid fields, a place that hadn't been touched since the war. But she knew someone here. A shadow from the past. Sergeant Oren Vax. Once a human, now something else. He had been part of the Black Gate program, a secret project to merge human soldiers with alien tech. Cale had been the first. Oren had been the second and the only survivor. She found him inside the ruins, half machine, half man. Rust covered his limbs. His voice was broken, but his eyes still held fire. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "He'll know." "He already knows," she replied. "Cale's alive and he's built something worse than war." Oren stared at her. "He showed you the signal, didn't he?" She nodded. "What is it?" Oren walked to a console. Powered it on. A map of deep space appeared. He pointed to a region far outside the known galaxies. "This is where the Zarn found the first message, a code buried in the void. They thought it was old tech, but it wasn't. It was a warning, or maybe a promise." "From who?" she asked. "Not who," he said. "What?" He tapped the screen. "There's something out there, something bigger than the Zarn, older than both our species. Kyle's signal is a call, not for allies, but for judges." Alara stepped back. "He wants them to come?" Oren nodded. "He thinks if he shows them we're strong, that they'll let us live. If we look weak, we vanish." A terrifying logic. Cale wasn't just fighting for revenge. He was preparing Earth to survive an extinction-level test. And the weapon? It was just the first step. How do I stop him? Ilara asked. Oren looked at her, his voice soft. You can't. I have to try. He reached behind him and handed her a key, a data crystal made from both Zarn and human code. This can enter his core, he said. But once you're inside, you'll face more than tech, you'll face him. Ilara returned to her ship. Time left, 39 hours. She flew straight toward Kael's station. No more hiding. The hunters returned. She fought. Through them, her ship damaged, alarms screaming. She reached the structure's dock and leapt out, running into the belly of the beast. The halls shifted around her. Kael was controlling them. He was watching. Why keep chasing me, Ilara? His voice echoed. You already made your choice. Why not live with it? She moved forward through smoke and sparks. Because I still believe there's something human in you. She reached the weapon core, the sphere pulsed, alive, waiting. She inserted the key. A door opened, not physical, mental. She fell into a digital space. Memories, dreams, pain. She saw Kael, before the war. Laughing, young, full of hope. She saw herself beside him. Their bond. Then the darkness. She saw the moment he broke. The moment the Zarn offered him survival. But at a price. They would rebuild him. But not as a man. As a mirror of their enemy. A soldier forged in pain. Designed to understand both sides and destroy both if needed. A perfect judge. And Kael accepted. His voice echoed inside her mind. You think this is revenge? It's not. It's evolution. Ilara shouted into the void. You're not a god, Kael. You're just a man who got lost. A pause. Then, silence. Maybe, his voice whispered. But sometimes, the lost must lead the blind. And just like that, she was thrown back into reality. A new alert appeared. Weapon charging, final phase initiated. Time left, 24 hours. Kael had shown her everything. Now she knew the truth. And now, she had one day to stop the end of humanity. But to do that, she would have to kill the only man she ever trusted. Heart of the machine. Time left. 23 hours, 58 minutes. The alien station pulsed like a heart in the blackness of space. Inside, Ilara moved slowly through the long metallic corridors, her boots echoing in the silence. The air felt heavier. Every breath was harder than the last. This time she wasn't here to escape. She was here to end it. Behind her, the crew was gone, destroyed. She was alone again. Ahead of her, Kael, the man who once fought beside her, the man who now stood between humanity and extinction. And yet in her heart there was still a question. Was he trying to destroy the world, or save it in his own broken way? A door opened in front of her. She stepped into the core chamber. This was not the same room from before. It was alive. The walls pulsed with blue and red veins of energy, like blood flowing through a machine. Strange patterns moved across the floor. The sphere in the center, the weapon, hovered above the ground, spinning faster than before. And beneath it, Kael, hooked into the floor by long, glowing wires. Part of his body metal. The rest, still, flesh. He looked up when she entered. His eyes were tired. His voice was quiet. You came back. Ilara raised her weapon. Kael didn't flinch. I should kill you, she said. Then do it, he replied. Silence. She didn't move. Instead, she lowered the gun. I need answers first, Kael nodded. I thought you might. He looked around the room. This is where it all ends. Not with fire, not with war, but with a choice. Ilara stepped closer. You're calling something with that signal. What is it? Kael's voice changed, calm, almost like a teacher. Long ago, before the Zarn, there were beings who judged civilizations. Watchers, silent, patient. They didn't destroy planets. They tested them. They offered power, knowledge, but only if a species proved it was ready. And this weapon is the test? He shook his head. No. The weapon is the question. What humanity does next. That's the answer. Alara frowned. You think they're watching us now? They already are, he whispered. They heard our wars. They saw our peace. But they don't care about our treaties. They care about our nature. He turned his face to her. I wanted to show them strength. Show them we were ready to fight. Ready to rise. But not everyone agrees. He waved his hand. A hologram appeared. Thousands of messages. Hundreds of worlds, human colonies, alien systems. Do you see this? He asked. Panic, fear, confusion. The signal is already affecting them. Not with violence, but with doubt. They're turning on each other. Alara stared in horror. You're breaking the galaxy to impress your invisible judges. Kale nodded. If they see weakness, they will erase us. But if they see unity and chaos, they may spare us. That's insane, she said. Is it? Kale asked. Or is it evolution? He stepped down from the platform. His body moved. Slower now. Metal gears hissed under his skin. You don't understand what it means to be part of something larger than yourself, he said. I died in that war, Alara, and they rebuilt me not as a soldier but as a symbol. You rebuilt yourself, she replied. Maybe, he said, but only because no one came to save me. They stood face to face now. For a moment there was silence. Then Alara said, You want me to stop you, don't you? He looked away. I can't shut it down anymore. The system is locked. Part of my mind is tied to it. If I die, the weapon stops. But so does everything I've become. Tears filled her eyes. Then why tell me all this? Because, he said, stepping closer. You're the only one who can choose. Either shoot me and the signal ends or walk away and maybe, just maybe, we survive what comes next. Alara trembled. The gun in her hand felt like a mountain. Kill him, and the world goes back to sleep. Let him live, and face whatever answers the stars might send. I don't know what's right anymore, she said. Kale smiled faintly. That's why you're still human. He reached up and touched the barrel of her weapon. Do it, but she didn't move. You trusted me once, she said. Why not now? He looked at her, eyes filled with memories. Because this time, the weight is too heavy for one man. She stepped back. You said this was a choice. So here's mine. She dropped the gun. Kale stared at her. You're not going to stop it? No, she said. But I'm not going to kill what's left of you either. He closed his eyes. And then something strange happened. The weapon slowed. The sphere, once spinning wildly, began to soften its light. What did you do? She asked. Kale looked confused. I didn't do anything. The AI inside the station spoke for the first time. Pattern recognized. Human restraint. Biological override detected. System deactivated. Ilara's mouth fell open. It was never about strength, she whispered. It was about mercy. Kyle smiled. His last smile. They were watching after all. He collapsed to the floor. The wires detached. The light faded. The signal stopped, and somewhere in the deep void, far beyond any known galaxy, someone, or something, turned away. Not in anger, but in approval. Peace at a price time, 0 hours, 00 minutes. The weapon was silent. The stars were calm again, and Kale Ryder was gone. Commander Alara stood alone in the cold metal chamber where it had all ended. The machine that once pulsed with deadly power now stood quiet, like a heart that had stopped beating. But something else remained. A choice made, a message sent, a judgment passed. As she walked out of the station, her thoughts were a storm of questions. Had she done the right thing? Had she saved humanity? Or had she simply delayed the next test? The only thing she knew for certain was that the war was over. Not the war between humans and aliens. Not the war between Kale and Earth. But the war inside her, the war between guilt and duty, between justice and mercy, between the past and the future. 3 days later, Earth, Memorial Tower, New Berlina. Cold wind blew across the rooftop garden as Elara stood in full uniform, staring at the wall of names. Thousands of names, friends, soldiers, people who had given everything to end a war, and among them now, one name had been added, carved in quiet steel, Cale Ryder. Lost, then found. Behind her, high-ranking officers and government leaders gathered for a speech. They had questions, of course. They wanted to know why the mission had gone silent, why 5 soldiers had vanished, why the weapon had never fired. She had given her report, a clean, careful version of the truth. Cale Ryder died protecting the future, she had written, and the weapon was shut down by his own command. They didn't need to know everything, not yet, because what Cale left behind was more dangerous than the weapon itself. An idea that sometimes the greatest strength is not power, but restraint. That night, Elara sat alone in her apartment. Outside, people celebrated the First Galactic Unity Conference, a meeting between humans and Zarn leaders to discuss shared futures. Hope was returning. Walls were coming down. But Elara felt no peace, only questions. Her communicator blinked. A message from deep space. She opened it. Encrypted. Untraceable. Only 3 words. They saw mercy. No sender. No location. But she knew who it was from or what. Something had been watching. Something had seen her choice. And it had passed judgment, not just on Cale, on all of humanity. The next day, Central Command Elara entered a hidden chamber beneath the Earth's surface. The room was dark, cold, built to survive any threat. This was Project Black Veil, Earth's secret defense against alien threats. She walked past guards and scans until she reached a long glass case. Inside was a piece of the sphere. Kyle's weapon, what remained of it. It had stopped working. But scientists couldn't understand why. It wouldn't respond. To anyone. Except her, she placed her hand on the glass. It lit up, dim, blue. A soft pulse, like a memory. One of the scientists turned. To her, it's only reacting to you, your DNA, your neural signature. What do you want us to do with it? Elara didn't speak for a long time. Then finally she said, lock it away, forever. Weeks later, unknown location, a secret ship traveled beyond the edges of known space. On board, a single device, a warning beacon, not from Cale, from Elara. Her message, this galaxy is fragile. We are fragile, but we choose peace. We choose mercy. We choose to survive not by fear, but by who we are. To those who listen, we are not perfect, but we are trying. Don't test us. Stand with us. Or stay away. The beacon was launched into the stars. And then she returned home. Epilogue. Memorial Garden. Earth Elara knelt at a small stone hidden among the trees. No fanfare. No crowd. Just a name. Cale Ryder. Beneath it, one line was carved by her hand. He didn't lose his humanity. He gave it away, to protect ours. The wind blew softly. Far above the stars shimmered, and somewhere in the darkness, the watchers kept watching, but they did not come. Not this time, because they had seen enough. And for now, peace remained.